Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the PGS Esports Realistic. I just want to say I do apologise about the late start tonight. It's been a bit of a rush. I reset the live link for my Twitch and had to get it all reset, which was a bit annoying. But anyway, we are here then for the Realistic tier, ladies and gentlemen, and it is the 10th round of the season. We have made it 10 rounds in. 5 more to go. A bit more into halfway now, aren't we, of this season. 10 rounds we have done now, including this one, and it is Suzuka here in Japan, with Wolfie Plays being your quickest driver on the grid so far. Mbulk then sat in second place. R10 now sets second place, the 1 minute 30.962. But hopefully everyone's having a very nice day. And we are back for PGS, of course, like we are on every Thursday evening. As Papa Rim now is your quickest driver. That is a very nice time for him. Unfortunately, only 11 drivers here today, which isn't, of course, one of the best amount of people we've seen, not the best attendance, but it does seem to fluctuate, doesn't it? And I'm very much sure, next week is going to be even better. But I was having a look then at the previous wins, and it is vastly dominated by Leadog. It really, really is. I believe last race was won by Papa Rim, I believe, if I am correct in saying that. But 12 minutes remaining then, everybody, and we have had 5 times on the board so far. Wolf in the chat, Jack, that P2 looks good. It definitely does, mate. It definitely does. Second place at the moment. Well done, buddy. Very nice indeed. Second place for Wolfie Plays, of course. Still early stages, but it isn't a bad time to kickstart this evening off for him. It really, really isn't. Papa Rim at the moment, then, everybody, is the only man in the 1 minute 29s. Then taken away by Jay Pinto, who will cross that line in the Alpine this evening and has set a 1 minute 29.4. If you're new here in the Realistic tier, then, everybody, this is a bit of a different way that we do it, of course. It is the realistic cars that we use, and depending on the driver's actual race pace, that then determines what car they get given. So looking at, of course, Leadog, who is in the slowest car but the fastest driver. Decker's over the line, is in the Ferrari and sets pole position at the moment by a massive, massive margin over Jay Pinto in second place and Papa Rim just behind him in third. That's a really good starting point for Deckers, and 11 minutes remaining, so we're nowhere near done of this session so far, but already setting times like that. Deckers has got a good future ahead of him then in this session with a 1 minute 28.693. That is a hell of a lot, about 7 tenths in front of Jay Pinto just on his first lap around. That is going to have time in it. Of course it's going to have time in it. It's good to see. It is very good to see. Deckers having a great qualifying so far, as well as Wolfie Plays, might I add. And we are still yet to see that Wolfie Plays podium. We still need to see it. For 10 minutes remaining, if you're in the chat, it is good to see you all this evening. 11 people joining us. Leadog, of course, is back, and a very fast driver, as well as Jay Pinto and Papa Rim, starting to be up there. Deckers as well today, setting great qualifying pace, and I was really shocked to see Wolfie Plays in 4. That's really nice to see. But how long will he hold on to that for? Because we're still going to see Leadog cross the line, Luke Bailey, Flavor, Tiger B, and that's it at the moment. 4 more people to cross the line. But Leadog and Luke Bailey especially, they're going to be up there in my opinion. They're very fast drivers. I'm sure they're going to improve. Papa Rim then across the line improves by a lot there. 1 minute 28.7. Still not quicker than Deckers on this go around, everybody. But Papa Rim does close in on him and gets just a bit closer to his qualifying time, which is what he's aiming for. Deck in the chat. Did you like the lap? Yes, mate. It was very nice. Pole position for you at the moment. You cannot complain with that, can you? Good qualifying time at the moment. It's very nice to see you up there as well as Wolfie. Wolfie's on an outlap at the moment and will be going round again to give it another go. Like I mentioned, qualifying is far from over. Still 8 whole minutes of this session before we are complete with it. Deck in the chat. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Pole until leader comes out. I mean, that's normally the story. That is normally the story. Westwood, what's with the attendance? That's what I was thinking earlier, mate. I'm not entirely sure. To be fair, mate, I think it does happen now and then, doesn't it? I'm not too sure why. But I remember when I used to run a racing league, you get a lot of people press the attendance button. It comes round to the race whenever it is, and you know you don't get a quarter of them or whatever. Sometimes it happens. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I think this is what happens with PGS. Sometimes they'll go for a blip. They'll have a race with quite a low attendance like this, and then the week after it will be bumped right up again. I mean, you know, they can achieve full grids here, and what a league it is, to be fair. I've been with them for a long time now. It is 7.5 minutes then of qualifying, everybody. Wolfie Plays is about to start his second lap around. Here we go then. I really want to see this one, and we're going to watch him along now on to the first corner. 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go, and this McLaren then of Wolfie Plays is flying through the first few corners here then. The windy left to the right section, where if you get too much on the curb, of course, the car just gets mega unsettled, especially here in Japan, but nothing to phase Wolfie Plays at the minute, who is setting a quite decent first sector right now. 50% battery left then. He's set a 3.5 improvement then, and apparently fastest first sector for Wolfie Plays. He's up on time at the minute then, is what matters on his previous time. 0.3 of a second right now would get him into the 1:29s, which is where he wants to be. Not just past Flavour right now, but it still could be a great qualifying time for Wolfie Plays if he continues up this form. Making his way through the final few corners then, and it'll be foot flat to the floor up towards the end of sector 2. Here comes the back straight then, leading on to the 130R corner. And it's Wolfie Plays, currently sat 5th position. Flavour in front of him, and he needs a miracle here. No, he doesn't, never mind. 0.6 of a second goes Wolfie Plays. Improvement. Brilliant improvement there for Wolfie, as he now is going to try and go even quicker, possibly gain a few places in the meantime as well. Over the line for Wolfie Plays then. He's going to set P4. 0.6 improvement for the McLaren. Lovely stuff. There's one thing I really quickly will do is I did up the graphics settings the other day, and I am going to just put it down a little bit just because I keep noticing a little bit of lag and I don't want that to continue. So we'll leave it at the medium for now. We've had it for ages. J Pinto! That is absolutely sensational. Rapid time then for J Pinto. 1:28.5. He's found a 1/10 of a second over Deckers. He's now on pole position then. What a great time for J Pinto then in the Alpine this evening. 5 minutes of your qualifying session remaining. Of course, after this, you have a 50% Grand Prix, which normally takes about 40 to 45 minutes, depending on the track. And J Pinto just set pole position. Deckers is out there on an outlap again. Arctic Ryan has set P4. Wolfie Plays, of course, now in P5. Flavour 6, Emburg 7, Red Player F1 in 8. 9 is Tiger B. Luke Bailey in 10. Lee Dog has invalidated on this go around. Is he going to try and make it harder for himself and do a last to first challenge? That could be the strategy for him. That could be the strat. We'll find out if that is what he's going to do. But let's go to Luke Bailey then, who is not far away from starting his lap. But he's just about to get going with it then, ladies and gentlemen. Luke Bailey, the league owner, the man. He's not always here, but when he is here, I've got to give it to him. He does show up well. He really does. And he tends to be up there, and hopefully he can do the same today. 3.5 minutes. Oh my God, I've gone through all of them. As Luke Bailey leaves the session, apparently. And he's out. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but let's go to Tiger B then, the only driver on the track who is looking to set a better time, or the first time of his day. And we'll see what he's got in store then. We haven't seen his pace yet, as he hasn't set a single lap time at the moment. But 3 minutes remaining, and he'll have probably one shot to give it a good go. Lap 2, 2 minutes remaining. Oh my God, my brain is completely fried tonight. Tiger B is on the lap though, everybody, with 90% battery. Luke Bailey does rejoin the session, which is what we want to see. Thank the Lord he is back, because I do want to see where he can put himself. He is very fast, like I mentioned. And if he can set a time, if he's got the time to do it, I don't think he will though. 1:50, he's just rejoined. I think Luke Bailey's starting from near the back of the grid, everybody. Tiger B though will have the time. This will be his final lap of the day, and he's going to make his way all the way through and into the middle sector in a moment. This Red Bull with his foot flat to the floor, trying to get a decent first time today here in Japan. He's down in 9 at the moment, and he's looking to set a very quick time if he can. What's the middle sector looking like? 1:12.1 into 1:30R now then, and into the final few corners. Here in Suzuka, 1 minute remaining, and this is his only chance, his only lap he'll get, so no more reruns. Tiger B towards the line, battery and DRS activated. It's P7 with 1:29.997, and he sets not a bad time. Of course, not a lot of drivers here today, so wherever you set your time, it's not really that bad. But Wolfie Plays will be starting from 5th on the grid at the moment. Flavour could improve though and take that away from him. But a lot of drivers on their outlaps with 20 seconds to go, and they're all making their way over the line now to start their laps. Is Decker's going to make it there? And he will make it round the final corner, but only just by the skin of his teeth then. 10 seconds to spare, and Decker's begins his final lap. Will go to the drivers in front. I think there's an Aston Martin of Arctic Ryan, who's 1.6 seconds up on the last lap around, apparently. Let's go to somebody behind him. Oh, Papa Rim loses the rears, and that'll be the end of that lap if he was on one there. Unfortunately, Papa Rim loses the car off the track as well for Jay Pinto. The pole sitter will not be making any improvements this evening, but Deckers is making his way around, and he'll get a bit of a slipstream from the man in front as he heads into the flying right-hander. He's up by 1.5 nearly in Sector 1. Deckers could be the man on pole today. Jay Pinto has completely binned it. His last lap of the day, he will not be able to contest this. Deckers has already found enough time to be on pole. Can he continue the form? The Ferrari tonight of Deckers could claim his first ever pole position in PGS Esports Realistic, everybody. Finally, this could be the day. If he doesn't bottle this lap, he heads up towards the back straight then to the end of Sector 2 with 20% battery, and he's foot to the floor now. Will it be an improvement in Sector 2? It's a 1 minute 10.4. He's found 4 whole tenths then, and it lights up purple in Sector 2 as now the final third comes and no battery left at all. But he'll get the privilege of the DRS down the back straight, down the main straight. Is it going to be pole for Deckers? It is pole for Deckers. 1 minute 28.263. And he sets pole for the first time in PGS Esports. J Pinto will not improve. Deckers is on pole position here in PGS Esports Realistic. Brilliant qualifying time from him. He sets pole. J Pinto lines up on the front row of the grid with him. Papa Rim 3, it is Flavor, lines up in 4, Arctic Ryan 5, Wolfie Plays then, rounds off qualifying in 6, P7 is Tiger B, 8 is M-Bulk, P9 is Ready Player F1, then it's Luke Bailey and Lee Dog in P10 and 11 at the back of the grid after retiring from qualifying today. Deckers on pole, brilliant. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, the Japanese Grand Prix qualifying session. It's Deckers on pole position today. I am honestly so happy to say that. I really am. He thoroughly deserves it tonight. Very nice lap from him. J Pinto lines up in 2. Papa M lines up 3. Flavor is 4 with Ryan in 5. Wolfie Plays in 6. Tiger B in 7. M-Bulk in 8. Ready Player F1 9. Luke Bailey 10. And Lee Dog 187 lines up from the back of the grid then in P11. Okay then, everybody, it is Deckers on pole. First ever pole, he says as well. Well done, mate. Really happy for you, really am. Good lap. I do love to see new drivers and, well, I love to see people that haven't normally took pole getting it. Westwood in the chat, Lee Dog making it hard for himself. Absolutely, of course he is. He has to, doesn't he? He cannot do things too easily, of course. Lee Dog is Lee Dog, and he's very fast, as we know it. So he's going to start from the back of the grid today and aim to win it. Try and take the glory away from Deckers. Can Deckers hold that into turn 1? I mean, the man behind him was looking for that pole, but he binned the last lap around, and that let Deckers make that final improvement needed to be on that pole position. But we should be going very soon to get away with this Japanese Grand Prix. 10 rounds into the PGS Esports season and 5 more remaining rounds before we are complete with this one. It's gone really fast, actually. It really, really has. 10 rounds in. Crazy, crazy stuff. 2/3 into the season now. There's 4 rounds left. This is round 11, is it? How? I do not. Let's have a look really quickly. Attendance. No, mate, this is round 10. On the calendar, it says Suzuka round 10, 29th of January. It should be round 10. Right, we're just waiting for the call now then, and we will be going with this Grand Prix. 40 minutes, 45 minutes of racing ahead of us. Never mind, got confused. Someone told me round 10 last week. No worries, mate. Nah, that confused me. I was just worrying, thinking I got it wrong. But no, we're all good. 10th round of the season, 5 more. With them being Austria, the Yas Marina Circuit, Silverstone, Bahrain and Singapore to round off the season on the 5th of March, I believe that is. Yes, the 5th of March. So that's going to be nice. Singapore to round it off, a night race. Can't complain. And we're on the grid now then here in PGS Esports, everybody. The 10th round of the season, 2/3 in. Decker's on pole, and it's lights out, and away we go. Then already someone at the back, ready player F1 into the wall, into the first corner. Jay Pinto trying to steal that pole away, trying to steal that first, and Jay Pinto gets spun around. Deckers leads then. Papa Rim now in second place. Deckers has an 8/10 advantage because of that spin from behind, and Jay Pinto from second on the grid is now down to the back in P11. Lee Dog's already made up many places from P11 up into P5 then in this Grand Prix with 11 drivers here, and he's already made up countless places, 6 places made for him as he gains up to P5 then in this Grand Prix. How has he done that this early on? I do not know, but he must have fully sent it to get ahead, and it has worked a dream for him as Mbuk, I think that's Mbuk, went off the track there, losing a bit of time, losing places as well as up in front of that. Lidog gets a move on Wolfie Plays. Wolfie now drops down to P5, and Lidog, I have to admit, is going to win this race. He is absolutely flying, and there's no worry for him is there today. He's already on the first lap, nearly gone from last to first. This is one of the best first laps I have ever seen. It is absolutely brilliant so far, and the kick Sauber pulls to the inside line. He makes a pass into P3. Now he's got Papa Rim in front of him. Whoa, how is he doing this? 1.3 seconds to the man in front. Lidog is just absolutely flying at the moment. Deckers is going to be quite worried right now, setting the fastest lap, but he has got Lidog gaining. Papa Rim's behind him as well. Behind that, Wolfie Plays has got Flavour, not too far away for a move there. But the second lap then of 27 racing laps that we have here in Japan, and Deckers is your race leader still. Will Lidog be able to catch him? He's got Arctic Ryan on the back side of him. Lidog now seeming to struggle a little bit. He's made a lot of places up, but as soon as he's got to these top two, it's a little bit harder for him. It's a little bit harder. Is this going to be his day though? Still very early to tell. Oh, the back end flying out. This could be Arctic Ryan's chance to make a bit of a gain on him here then. Right then everybody, lap 2 of 27, and Deckers then is your race leader onto the third lap at the moment, and Papa Rim currently sat in third with Lidog behind him, and the gap was 1.7 in one lap around. He's brought it down by 1 whole second. Now 6/10, 5/10, the gap is coming down behind. Wolfie Plays has spun and drops down to P9 everybody. P10 now for Wolfie Plays, unfortunately. Loses places. Lidog into second place, and now Deckers is going to come under threat from the kick Sauber with 1.3 seconds adrift to him. Without Lidog being here, it could have been Deckers' day, but Lidog does not let anybody rest, does he? As ready player F1 picks up the first time penalty of the day here in PGS. In P11 at the back of the grid in the pit lane as well. Is he going to retire, or is he just getting a pit stop in here to get himself sorted out? It seems to be getting himself sorted out then here in Japan, and will be coming out at the back of the grid, hoping for a safety car possibly. Here he is then. That's J Pinto and Luke Bailey. Something happened there, and Luke Bailey loses his rears. Of course, he started second to last here today, and he was up he's up a few places into P7, then dropped down now to 8 after falling off the side of the track. But I'm sure, is going to catch up surely. Luke Bailey very much out of position here, I must say. Deckers then leading with a 1.6 second gap to Lee Dog. And Lee Dog could gain here. It is very much possible to catch Deckers. And we've seen him go from P11 to P2 in the space of 3 laps really. Mega job, mega job. And of course the grid is shortened down tonight. It's not a full grid or near a full grid that we normally get. But you know, 11 people still. It's a lot of people to move through. And he got into P5 on the very first few corners. It's incredible action so far, as Lee Dog has got 1.6 seconds to gain. And not in that DRS zone at the moment. He's got Papa Rim 0.6 of a second behind him. Yellow flags being shown near the pit lane, and it is ready player F1 into the pits again. Second time we've seen him go in. Surely he's retiring now. He's just sped in. He does retire. 10-second time penalty to his name. And ready player F1 is out of the Japanese Grand Prix. Lap 4 of 27. And incredibly early stages right now, as Decker still is your leader with 1.7 second gap. It hasn't really changed that drastically. As we head down the straight with the drivers, and they're all quite evenly spaced out right now. In towards the main straight they go, and it is Wolfie Plays back of the grid. Embolt making his way around the final corner. Ahead of that is Luke Bailey catching on Tiger B. Hasn't got a lot of gap to him now, has he? Right on the back side of him. Oh, that was close, wasn't it? Tiger B then flying through past the Mercedes there, as Wolfie Players retires from the session, unfortunately. But the gap up the front is 1.3 seconds. Was 1.5 and slowly but surely coming down, and I think this is it now for Lee Dog. You see that gap slowly but surely getting brought down. Lee Dog has half battery. Deckers has a quarter. This man behind is definitely holding the advantage in his hands, and he's gaining as well as doing that. This is going exactly the way he wants it to. And Lee Dog could be your race winner today, snatching it away from Deckers. The move is on, and it is coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled, because the 5th lap going on to lap 6 now. And we might just have a new race leader within a few corners now. With half a second gap that Lee Dog has, he will now have that DRS down the main straight, and he's going to go for the pass. Lee Dog 187 takes the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix as he goes all the way from last to first in the space of 6 laps today. Brilliant race from Lee Dog at the moment, as he now gets ahead of Decker, so he's trying to fight back, but I just don't know if it's going to work for him. He's still holding on quite closely behind, but at the moment it is looking more to the way of Lee Dog. As we have yellow flags, as there's an Alpine round, and it is J Pinto. It's such a shame for him, you know, because he was doing all right. 6 places lost. This man started up in 2nd place, and you know, it is really sad to see. It really, really is, because Jay Pinto was on for a good one. But unfortunately, now not going this man's way. He's just lost a whole wing as well. As lap 7 of 27, and we have 20 more remaining. Lee Dog still ahead. And oh, Deckers is giving him a good go. Deckers goes for the lead again into P1 past Lee Dog. Wow, he's half a second in front as well already. Is Lee Dog letting him do that, or is this Deckers really getting ahead and pushing himself? Jay Pinto now retires from the session after a 10-second time penalty. With 20 laps remaining, we only have 8 drivers left in the race, unfortunately. Here comes Lee Dog there, and he's gaining and gaining on Deckers. He finds the inside line, and he goes for that pass. Lee Dog into the lead again, 10 places up, and once more is your race leader. But I've got a feeling this is going to keep changing around. Deckers has really got a bit of pace behind him today. He started on pole, and he's keeping this pace up. A brilliant exit through the final corner to try and catch Lee Dog here. We exit onto the main straight. The gap 3/10 of a second. Not a lot of battery left for Lee Dog or Deckers either. Into turn 1 this time around. Deckers can't fight him back. This lap now is all about him staying within a good distance of him. Up the inside, can he make this work? Oh my, the battle here is just brilliant from the drivers, but Deckers cannot get a pass here and has to stay back. I'm sure he's going to find that move though, as he's sticking very in within the gap, and Papa Rim is just on the scene here as well. Here we go then, down the straight. This time around, Deckers is quite behind, and he has got a bit of threat from Papa Rim on the 9th lap. We head into the first corner, and this man behind of Papa, he's really brought it back. He's really gained, doesn't he? In 5/10 of a second, the gap now is looking quite strong for him. If he can continue this kind of form, this is good. This is the kind of pace he needs. It could be a second place for him at the minute. I think Deckers might lose it, but Papa Rim just lose time. Not over yet. Embu and Tiger B in 8 and 7 down at the back of the grid. Jay Pinto, Wolfie and Ready Player F1 have all retired from the session. Oh, as Deckers picks up the first penalty of the session. And this is where it really does affect him, because he's around a pack that have, you know, relatively close to him in time. That's going to really affect Deckers at the moment, as Lee Dog's still in front. Deckers P2 and fighting as much as he can to get in front, but I don't think there's enough room here for him. He possibly could though. Has he got enough speed at the inside line? Deckers sends his car up there. He makes a pass. Lee Dog has to go on the outside here. Deckers goes for the lead, as Lee Dog will try and fight him up towards 130R. So here comes the kicks out. The Lee Dog up the inside line. He's absolutely flying, and he's got no fear as he sends the car up the inside. Can Deckers try and fight back there? Around the outside line he goes. This man is going for it again. The defensive driving is working. Well, of course, the attack is working for Deckers, but the defence is also somewhat working when he has to use it. And Deckers in front right now. Leadog gaining once again. He's going to now try and pass him around that outside line, but he cannot do it in towards the first corner. We reach the 10th lap of the Grand Prix. 17 to go. As the only driver with a time penalty is the race leader, which is really gonna be a detriment to his race. He's not going to be happy with that, but you know, long way to go, and drivers could pick up the penalties as well. But Leadog's looking for the gap up the inside that Deckers did. Leadog loses his rears as he gets himself back on. Papa Rim now slots into second place. Right place at the right time for him. Leadog's now well further back in P3 with 1.4 second gap now to Papa Rim. As he's going to try and gain again. We've just seen this man spin around and look at him right on the backside again. It's just incredible. He's already there. He is already there after spinning in the pit lane. Goes Deckers then as he pits for the first time today. Lap 11 of 27, then we saw the first pit stop of the day from Deckers, who was leading, but since then has now gone into the pit lane, getting on some new tyres. As he now comes out in P6, and will Leadog or Papa Rim decide to follow? With 8 drivers remaining then, Jay Pinto, Wolfie and Ready Player F1 are all out. And this is your closest battle at the moment. It is Papa Rim 1, Leadog 187 in 2. As the kicks out again, a bit iffy on the rears there. As he makes his way through. Second place at the minute, he's got 0.8 of a second to Papa Rim in 1. As when are they going to pit? When are they going to pit? He's on the mediums. Both of them on the mediums actually. Archie Ryan on the hard compound. As Deckers and Flavour, the only 2 drivers to make pit stops today. And I'm sure very soon we're going to see Papa and Leadog do the same. Behind, it was Emble there who managed to spin the car around, unfortunately. As here they come again, no pit stops just yet. Lap 13 of 27. Lee Dog still behind Papa Rim right now. But Papa Rim won the previous round, everybody, of course, after Lee Dog let his teammate win. And I think that's what's going to happen today. I actually think the same thing is going to repeat itself. Lee Dog might just let his teammate win again for 2 weekends in a row. Is this going to happen? Is this going to happen then? Both of the drivers need to go into the pit lane. Embalt retires from the session. Only 7 remaining now, unfortunately. But Papa's got his teammate behind, as we have established, and this is why Lee Dog isn't making those moves past him. He's definitely staying slow and conserved behind because he wants his teammate to be the man in front and keep him there for as long as possible. He's going to gain and gain, or he's going to make a move. Never mind, up the inside line. Lee Dog goes for a move on Papa Rim, and he leads this Grand Prix. Lee Dog, once again from the back of the grid, is now into that P1 position, leading ahead of his teammate Arctic Ryan in 3, Luke Bailey in 4 now. Deckers drops down to 5, of course, pitted onto the soft compound tyres. Was that the right call? We'll find out. Here we go. Let's rerun it then, shall we? Papa Rim's in second place. He's got his teammate Lee Dog in front of him. Half a second is the gap. Is Papa Rim going to be able to make this pass and get ahead of his teammate? Possibly. We'll find out. Lap 15 of 27, and Lee Dog now leads. We've only seen 3 pit stops out of the drivers here. Still waiting for the rest of them, and the front few drivers, apart from Deckers, haven't been in. Still waiting. 14 lap old mediums is Lee Dog and Papa Rim on at the moment. And Luke Bailey picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now the second driver to pick up a penalty in this race as we make our way through 130R with Lee Dog and Papa. Into the pit lane for Lee Dog and Papa Rim too. Both of them decide to pit at the same time. And I'm assuming the hard compound tyres for them now. Surely they've gone out long enough. Hards it is as they put them on to now exit the pit lane. And And Deckers comes through past Leadog then. Deckers is miles through past Leadog here. Miles through, but he will have to make another pit stop. These softs aren't lasting that long, are they, surely? But they've worked well in this instance right now, because he's 11.8 seconds ahead of his championship rival tonight of Leadog. Here's Deckers then, second place, and he's got 3.9 seconds to Arctic Ryan in the front on the 15-lap old hard. So he's going to stay on them then and do what he can to keep them as long as he can. But at the minute, he will be staying out. He will not be going into the pit lane yet. Will be a bit of a silly idea, of course. But Deckers goes in again because he's on the soft compound tyres, and those tyres will be completely and utterly ruined, as he's now going to go in for brand new hards, I'm assuming, till the end. Never mind the mediums. Mediums till the final lap then. Deckers comes out in P6 now, unfortunately. 2 drivers to make pit stops, so he's really P4 once all of this, all of the pit stops happen. But wow, Arctic Ryan leads then from Leadog in P2, and the gap between them is 14 seconds. Paparen's behind his teammate Leadog then, with a 2.7 second gap between them two, with 10 laps remaining now, everybody. Arctic Ryan makes a pit stop. Arctic Ryan does make a pit stop then in that Aston Martin. As Leadog will be able to come and fly through now then for P1 and take that well-deserved lead. His teammate Paparim's going to come through now and take that second place. Arctic Ryan's here in third then. Flavor, Luke Bailey and Deckers all coming down. Will they get out ahead of him? He's just come out in front. Through goes Luke Bailey into P3. Arctic Ryan only loses 1 place. The rest of the drivers have to wait their turn. Deckers now in 5th. That has not worked out well for Deckers at all. The man that started on pole is now down in P5 with a penalty. Well, I have to admit, this is one of the quietest races I've seen in PGS for a long time, very long time. But I'm sure next week is going to be much more packed with the numbers. Sometimes it just happens, doesn't it? But unfortunately, that's happened today. Lap 18 of 27 then. Leadog still being your leader. This is the closest thing we've got then, mid-pack at the moment. His fastest lap then goes to Luke Bailey there as we cross the line with the drivers on lap 19 of 27. Lee Dog in front still. Paparim in 2 with a 3.7 second gap. And I'm not too sure he's going to be able to pull that back. To tell you the truth, I'm really not. Lee Dog wants to take this win today, and I'm sure he's going to go ahead and do it. Oh, Tiger B makes a spin at the back of the grid and is down in P7 at the moment on the 6-lap-old hard compound, which aren't that old, pretty new, compared to some tyres on the grid like, of course, Flavour on the 8-lap-old, which still are pretty young. Everybody's really got young tyres right now, after, of course, we've just had the pit stops. But lap 19 now starts lap 20. With 7 laps remaining, and Lee Dog still your man ahead, 1.7 seconds that gap. Behind that is Luke Bailey with Arctic Ryan behind him. I have to say that Williams livery is very nice indeed. See a lot of drivers using it then in league races nowadays, which is very good. And of course the addition of the special liveries in the F1 games is always great. Looks very nice, don't they, when people start using them. Lee Dog's got the special livery on here and the Kick Sauber. So is the Williams. Here's a move here, then the Ferrari at the inside line of the Aston. Decker's trying to get ahead here of Arctic Ryan. They make their way through the final chicane and up towards the line then on lap 21. And it's Deckers to try and gain here, the man that started on pole. Both of these drivers with DRS. It is just pure pace now then. Who's going to get out ahead? It is Arctic Ryan still being your driver in front. Somebody's round, it's Tiger B. He's gone round again multiple times. We've seen him do this, unfortunately, as he loses the rears, is what it seems like. He's gone around, ladies and gentlemen, and Tiger B at the back of the grid in P7 and has spun around multiple times now. But Lee Dog coming round then to start lap 22 of 27. Paparim, his teammates behind with a second gap. as one main thing to address is Decker started on pole, of course, and today he's down in P5. He's off the track as well as we speak of him. Off that goes Deckers. Started on pole, and it just hasn't gone his way, has it, today? It really, really hasn't. At least he can take away from it that he's took his first pole position today. That is something he can be proud of. But unfortunately, of course, it's not gone the way that he wants it to in P5. Flavor's in the pit lane then on the hard compounds, getting on some new tyres to the end. Possibly the softs now then. Or even the meat, never mind. Deckers retires from the session. Safety car. Wow, Deckers crashes then. And a safety car is deployed, everybody, in the final few laps of this Grand Prix. Leadog is your leader, and we are going to get some racing action for the final few laps here today. Good to hear. Very, very good to hear. That is, I'm very happy. Safety car deployed then. Deckers retires, Embolk's out. J Pinto, Wolfie, and Ready Player F1 all out and retired from this session tonight. It is only 6 people remaining out of 11. We've lost half of the grid pretty much. In the pit lane for Leadog and Papa Rim. As the drivers in the pit lane now are getting on some new tyres to round off this race today. We have a safety car deployed in the final few laps of the Grand Prix, and it won't be able to be out for that long as lap 24. There's 3 laps remaining. The safety car's going in this lap. It will do 1 lap and we will go racing again. But Mercedes of Flavor and Tiger B at the back, not being able to catch up with that safety car yet. I'm sure Flavor will, but it might be a struggle for Tiger B, who is very far back. And if we're just going racing on this lap around, I don't think it's going to work. Deck in the chat, I had no chance. Them two up front are such good teammates. Yeah, they are. They really are. Hard to beat, mate, I'm pretty sure. That's the way it seems. But the safety car, I believe, is going in this lap. They normally put the safety car in 3 laps before the end. They really know very hard, and they're so smart at racing as well. They really know how to apply pressure. Yeah, I guess it's something you just you'll probably get used to, maybe improve on, to be fair, Deckers. But is safety car going in this lap? I don't think it is. So we should have one more go around then. Never mind, one more lap of racing. One more lap of safety car, my bad, and then we'll go racing. I think that's my bad, actually. I think it is 2 racing laps it has to give you then before the end, I'm pretty sure. And it is going to give us 2 racing laps because it's going to go in this lap around. Then we'll have lap 26 and lap 27 to round off this PGS Esports realistic race tonight. Right then, everybody, you'll see the safety car will come in at the end of this lap, and Lee Dog will be your race leader when we go racing again. Papa Rim, his teammate, is in second place. Will he let his teammate win again, or is Lee Dog going to go and take the glory for himself tonight? That is the question that is soon to be answered. But either way, the safety car is in at the end of this lap. And we are about to get underway. Lee Dog leads then, Papa Rim 2, Luke Bailey 3, as we go racing again then, everybody, ahead of the drivers here in Japan. And Papa Rim going for a move on his teammate already. Everybody on the soft compound tyres. So now 2 full laps of racing on new softs. This is going to be good. It is Papa Rim 1 then, Lee Dog 2. Luke Bailey now is in the podium contention of tonight. R10 Ryan 4. Flavor is in 5. As Tiger B then is in 6th position. We have lap 26 and then lap 27. Two more laps. One more after this one. Ryan then in 3rd, now gets ahead of Luke Bailey into the podium places. Luke Bailey's going to try and take it back then on lap 26. Will Luke Bailey get into them podium places again? He has lost countless time to the man in front, and now it is Arctic Ryan in 3rd place on the podium. Now he's got Lee Dog in front of him. Can he take Lee Dog down and put Lee Dog in 3rd place? That is ideally what he wants to do with him, isn't it? But I am not entirely sure which way it is going to go. Lap 26 then now becomes the final lap, and Papa Rim is your leader. It is Lee Dog keeping the drivers behind and at bay as he is letting his teammate win again. His teammate will win this. If Papa Rim doesn't mess this up, he will be the man in front. He will be the man to take the win tonight, and it has been a great race from everybody involved at the moment on the 27th lap of 27, and Papa Rim leading on the brand new soft compound ahead of his teammate 1.1 seconds behind. Arctic Ryan in 3rd, Luke Bailey running in 4th position then. 5 is Flavor as Tiger B in 6th, ladies and gentlemen. As the drivers make their way through and towards the final few corners, well, the middle sector, of course, and it is Papa Rim as your leader still. The gap 9/10 of a second between him and his teammate. Surely Lee Dog's letting him win here, or is he still trying to catch him to get him over the line? This could make for some good racing action. Luke Bailey as well also wants to be on that podium, and he's gaining on Arctic Ryan in front. We make our way around the final few corners then, everybody, here in Japan, and the racing is extremely close towards the line with the rest of the drivers that are remaining here today. Papa Rim is your race leader. Lee Dog behind him, just behind in 2nd place. Is Lee Dog going to snatch the win away from him, or is he going to wait his turn behind the final lap of the Grand Prix? Here come the teammates. Papa Rim is going to cross the line and win the Japanese Grand Prix. Lee Dog over the line in 2nd place. Arctic Ryan 3rd. That ended fast, didn't it? All right then, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me tonight. What a session that was. And the winner goes to Papa Rim. Fastest lap then, Luke Bailey, driver of the day. Lee Dog, most overtakes Lee Dog. Cleanest driver is Arctic Ryan. Thanks very much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Been a very fun race this evening. Back next Thursday to do the same thing. Have a good night and see you later.